Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about the Milwaukee Bucks. So it's Monday, right? Trade deadline's in a couple of days, so it's Monday. I was reading a Power Rankings article, and they had the Milwaukee Bucks somewhere between, I think it was 5 or it was 6, and it was very questionable to me because when I take a look at this Bucks team, especially as of late, you have a healthy Giannis, you have a healthy Chris Middleton, you have a healthy Drew Holiday, and you won 7 straight games. So based on power, I don't understand how teams like Philadelphia can be ahead of them. Milwaukee right now is the second best team in the Eastern Conference, and to me, as long as Chris Middleton is healthy, and they're majority healthy, obviously Bobby Portis, no more injuries to Chris Middleton or Giannis for extended periods of time, and Chris mainly, Milwaukee's best team in the East, as far as I'm concerned. This year, they're 3rd in defensive rating, they are 6th in net rating, they're 1st in total rebounds, and they lead the league in wins against teams above 500. So, last year, you can take a look at it, where they almost took down Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and the Boston Celtics, the team that ended up going to the NBA Finals. But what's the caveat of that series? Well, Chris Middleton was injured. So, yes, maybe with just Giannis, as good of a player as Giannis is, as much of an MVP candidate as he is this season, he's come back rejuvenated since that injury as well. You need Chris Middleton to go from good to great, because this Bucks team has done a phenomenal job all year. They're 36-17, and Chris Middleton has only played 14 games. He's only played 20 minutes a night coming back from his injury. So if Chris Middleton is healthy, this Bucks team, they're the best in the East to me, and they're actually my finals prediction to win it as of right now. So what else do they need? Well, that's what we're going to talk about in today's video. So before we do, hit that like button, hit that sub button if you guys enjoy. I post NBA, NFL. The reason I'm talking about this today is because Kyrie Irving, pretty much, that trade just dismantled the Brooklyn Nets from contention as far as I'm concerned in the East. I get it, they have Kevin Durant, but at the end of the day, when you trade Kyrie Irving, your team gets worse. I don't care who else is on your team. You get worse when you trade away Kyrie Irving. When I look at the Philadelphia 76ers, yeah, they're a talented basketball team, but once we get into the playoffs, James Harden's not getting 15 free throws. Joel Embiid's not getting 15 free throws. The refs call playoff basketball completely differently than they do right now in the regular season. So I'm not putting too much stock in the Doc Rivers-led Philadelphia 76ers. And Boston, well, I already alluded to the fact that Giannis and this Bucks team literally almost took down the Boston Celtics in 7 games without their closer, without Chris Middleton, the literal 20-point-per-game scorer. So, yeah, this team is really good. Drew Holiday is one of the most underrated, underappreciated point guards and players in the entire National Basketball Association on the year. He's averaging 19 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists, a steal and a half, shooting 37% from downtown. And I want to bring that up real quick because Bobby Portis, 6th man of the year, Brook Lopez, Grayson Allen might get traded. I saw an interesting trade the other day. It was Grayson Allen and George Hill for Will Barton. I'm not opposed to that. I really am not opposed to it. Will Barton had a really rough go, though. That's the one caveat of that. He had a really rough go this year in Washington. So, the Wizards might even just straight up buy him out. But just like the Jay Crowder situation going on right now, if I'm the Bucks, I'm going to be as aggressive as possible on potential guys like Jay Crowder as they were, with the Jordan Nwora trade, mixed in with George Hill and Serge Ibaka and apparently a 2nd-round draft pick, because I don't want necessarily a different team to get Jay Crowder, because I know Jay Crowder is the most perfect complementary asset to this Bucks team. He reminds me almost of of a PJ Tucker from when he was on the championship squad, because it's like, yeah, all right, maybe PJ is better than Jay on defense, but that doesn't mean he's bad on defense. Jay Crowder is a good defender. He can knock down open threes, and his offense is, he's 10 points. He's 10 points. He stretches your floor, gives you good leadership, gives you another vet who is not too old, And I think most people would agree, especially Bucks fans, that Jay Crowder makes the Bucks better. So if you're giving up a second-round pick, Jordan Nwora, George Hill, and Serge Ibaka, I don't really know what's going on in Phoenix. I don't think anybody really knows what's going on in Phoenix. They just almost gave up Chris Paul for Kyrie, but they won't take that trade. Like, that doesn't personally make too much sense to me. Now, when we take a look at the grand scheme of things with this Bucks team, obviously Jay Crowder would help them so much. They're 22nd in offense, but I use the argument where it's like, yeah, I like to refer to Chris Middleton as the closer of this team, but second highest point per game guy, because Giannis is averaging 32, and as good as Chris is, he's not going to average 32. If I'm any team in the National Basketball Association and I'm without my second best scorer, my closer, a guy who can guard, a guy who can ISO score, I'm not too worried about overall grand scheme offense. Now, do I think necessarily a guy like Will Barton, if Will Barton was the 15-point per game scorer we saw last year in Denver, does he get them to that next level? For Grayson Allen and George Hill, possibly. Definitely possibly. I sit here today and I'm still very confused as far as why the Houston Rockets, I cover the Houston Rockets, I don't know why they turned down 4 second-round picks to acquire, or for the Bucks to acquire Eric Gordon. Sorry, right now we're really seeing Eric Gordon kind of get free reign on this team because they're missing Kevin, Jalen, Jabari's in and out, etc. And what are we seeing? We're seeing Eric Gordon put up 25. Eric Gordon's put up over 20 points for almost a week and a half now. We saw 28 points in the last time he played. We'll see him play tonight. I don't know why the Rockets wouldn't take that trade. 4 second-round picks is a pretty hefty trade package for an expiring contract, a guy that probably doesn't have any type of future on the Houston Rockets unless they decide to bring him back at a discount. So, I mean, you can't get, I guess if Grayson's in that Will Barton trade, but you can't get Will Barton and Jay Crowder. But to me, if the Bucks were to get Jay Crowder and Eric Gordon, I mean, they're already my finals pick because I worry about Jason Tatum in the finals until I see differently. I don't know why I would trust Jason Tatum in the finals because last year was a thing. So, yeah, I got the Bucks over the Celtics no matter what statistics tell me, and the Bucks aren't far off, by the way. Without their second-best scorer all season, they've won 34 games, only lost 17. It's pretty good. That works for me. But even as it stands right now, even if those trades weren't to go through, this is a very deep team. It's a very deep team. Obviously Bobby's injured right now, but Drew Holiday, Grayson Allen, Chris Middleton's working himself back from that injury. He's looked a lot better in the last 5 games specifically. Giannis, who is having an insane season. It's underappreciated. It's under-talked about because, first off, as a Chicago guy, Milwaukee's pretty under the radar, right? And then I think voter fatigue definitely plays a factor. Nikola Jokic as well is having a phenomenal year, but since he's the back-to-back MVP, and it's also another small market, there's not too much hype across, appreciation across national media. Bucks fans understand how good Giannis is, and NBA hardcore fans, even casual fans understand how good Giannis is, but maybe not to the same level that a Bucks fan would, or a hardcore fan would. Brook Lopez, rejuvenated player, one of the best defensive guys in the entire league. I have Javon Carter coming off of my bench, and we've seen Javon Carter, when Drew Holiday is out, come in, step up, and fill the role. This man can play defense. He can shoot threes. He can run and initiate offenses. It's more than enough. Wesley Matthews, we've seen it time and time again. Once we start getting into this stretch of the season, Wesley Matthews is a player who starts to thrive. Joe Ingles was a huge off-season acquisition. Now that he's back and it's more mid-season, as he's been working himself back from that torn ACL, we're starting to see the impact of Joe Ingles on this basketball team. So it's a very deep team, and they have the ability to stay deep, but also improve and get to the next level when they're already pretty much at the highest level when healthy. So that's my caveat, is Chris Middleton needs to be fully healthy. He needs to be good to go come playoff time. And if he is, I don't know who's taking down the Bucks, especially in the Eastern Conference. So let me know what you guys are thinking. Hit the like button, hit that sub button. I'll see you guys later.